In 1954, the young English doctor Roger Bannister made history when he stood on the starting line with a seemingly impossible goal to run a mile in under 4 minutes. At the time, experts and athletes believed that this limit was an insurmountable physical barrier, something that the human body simply could not overcome. This historical context is essential to understanding the scale of the achievement, which was much more than a sporting feat. It was a milestone in the human mindset about progress and the limits of what is possible. Imagine the scenario at the time. Coaches, runners, and even scientists did not believe that anyone could break this wall of the impossible. Roger, however, faced the challenge not with the haste of someone who wants to make a giant leap, but with the daily discipline and inner confidence of someone who knew that small improvements, added together, create real transformations. He did not seek a miracle, but rather incremental progress, step by step, day by day, habit by habit, until he achieved what many considered unattainable. This episode shows that sustainable success rarely comes from a single action or a moment of luck. Instead, Bannister's progress came from some micro gains that, together, created powerful momentum. It's celebrating small victories that strengthens motivation and builds the self-confidence needed to persist. Like him, anyone can build their own path to gradual transformation as long as they have discipline, focus on the process, and a long-term strategy. Bannister's story is an invitation to abandon the idea of rapid progress and embrace continuous improvement. Persistence and daily repetition of the right habits create a visual record of progress and reinforce the identity we desire, that of someone who achieves achievable goals, even if they seem small at first glance. After all, every step counts, and recognizing those steps is what keeps us going on the journey. So, understanding the historical context of Roger Bannister's achievement is more than just a sports trivia. It's a valuable lesson in how compounding, or the effect of compound interest applied to personal growth, works in practice. And that leads us straight to the importance of incremental progress, a topic we'll explore next. On May 6, 1954, Roger Bannister accomplished what many thought was impossible. He completed a mile in 3 minutes and 59 seconds. This feat marked not only the sport, but also the way we view daily discipline and incremental progress. The race was not a one-off act of self-improvement. It was a culmination of years of small victories and micro gains that, together, enabled this gradual transformation. He showed us that the one habit is a key to sustainable success. Bannister knew that achieving such an ambitious goal didn't require a last-minute effort needed to build a solid foundation. Step by step, he applied the idea of improving one with each workout, compounding his daily efforts to achieve excellence. This inner confidence, built through repetition and discipline, was key to momentum that carried him to the finish line with that historic time. What makes this record so inspiring is that it embodies the importance of patience and persistence, even when the goal seems far away. Bannister didn't get caught up in the anxiety of quick results. He committed to daily action and continuous improvement. Every micro gain, no matter how small, was celebrated, creating a natural motivation that fueled his journey. Furthermore, the feat reminds us that big goals need to be broken down into achievable goals. The marathon to run a mile under 4 minutes was broken down into small challenges and daily adjustments, a strategy that anyone can apply in their personal or professional life. Thus, the path to success is made up of consistent steps, where each habit reinforces the winner's identity. This historic milestone from 1954 is a powerful metaphor for the power of the one habit and incremental progress. It is the point at which we see that success does not depend on miraculous leaps, but on the silent but unbeatable accumulation of small daily actions. We will delve into this idea in the next topic, which talks precisely about the power of small advances. When we think about life changes, it's common to dream of big leaps, that quick turnaround that changes everything overnight. But the reality, as Roger Bannister taught us, is quite different. The real secret lies in incremental progress, in small, steady improvements that, when added together, lead to gradual transformation and sustainable success. This idea is at the heart of the One Habit, which values micro gains and daily discipline. Incremental progress is like building a house brick by brick. Each small action, each repetition of the right habit, strengthens the foundation of your identity and creates momentum that is virtually unstoppable. Daily persistence builds inner confidence, showing that real change is not about one big event, but about the sum of small victories, the ones that are not always visible, but that make all the difference in the long run. The beauty of this strategy is that it takes the pressure off of trying everything at once and replaces it with a lightness of celebrating each small step forward. And do you know what's even better? When you recognize these achievements, your brain understands that you're on the right track, increasing your motivation and making it easier to repeat the habit. It's a virtuous cycle of continuous improvement that generates real, tangible results. Additionally, focusing on micro gains helps you avoid the discouragement that often accompanies large, distant goals. When you break your goal down into smaller pieces, each achievable goal becomes a step that reinforces your commitment and self-confidence. Thus, the habit of incremental progress not only transforms results, but also shapes your mindset for consistent success. Therefore, the importance of incremental progress goes far beyond sports performance. It is a universal principle for any area of life. Instead of seeking a giant leap, adopt a rhythm of small daily advances, because this is what creates true transformation, and we will understand this idea better in the next point, where we will talk about the power of small advances and the One Habit. You know that saying, slow and steady wins the race? Well, that's exactly the philosophy that the One Habit embraces. Small advances, even if they're almost imperceptible on a daily basis, have enormous power when repeated with discipline and consistency. It's the sum of micro gains that pave the way for gradual transformation and, ultimately, for truly sustainable success. When you improve just one each day, it seems like little, almost nothing, right? But if you keep up this pace, the results over time are surprising, and this is exactly compounding in action, that compound interest effect that every investor respects. In your personal, professional, or sports life, this incremental progress generates positive momentum, an impulse that grows stronger and stronger as the small victories accumulate. The great thing about the One Habit is that it takes the focus off the immediate result and focuses on the process. By doing this, you create a routine of daily action where discipline becomes second nature, and self-confidence grows because you see progress happening, even if it's slow. This strengthens the identity of someone who is committed to continuous improvement, making repeating the habit almost automatic. Furthermore, this concept helps to overcome procrastination and discouragement. Waiting for big leaps can be demotivating, but when the goal is to make small progress each day, the feeling of achievement becomes fuel for persistence. Therefore, celebrating these small victories is essential. They are tangible evidence that you are on the right path, building your own success brick by brick. If you're wondering how to apply this, a practical example is investing just a few minutes a day to learn something new or improve a skill that's a micro gain. And over time, those minutes add up and can completely transform your trajectory. In the next topic, we'll see how this one daily improvement generates a macro transformation over time. It's amazing how a daily improvement of just one can seem small and yet have a huge impact down the road. This is a hard compounding applied to personal growth. When you add micro gains every day, you create a macro transformation that completely changes your life, often without you even realize it at first. It's like the caterpillar that turns into a butterfly through repetition and persistence. To understand this better, think of an athlete who trains a little better every day. He doesn't need to improve by 10 seconds at a time, but rather dedicate himself with focus and daily discipline to making small adjustments until, overall, his performance changes. This is the power of successful habits and long-term strategy. The sum of the improvements makes the impossible increasingly possible, creating a momentum that you don't want to lose. Another key point is that this transformation doesn't happen overnight, and that's good news, because it means you don't need luck or energy spikes to achieve your goals. With consistency, You build a solid foundation that supports personal and professional growth, generating self-confidence and a visual record of progress that inspires you to keep going. Furthermore, this daily improvement reinforces the importance of discipline and daily action, even on days when motivation seems to be fading. The secret is to stay focused on the process, on the small victories, because they add up and give meaning to the journey. Over time, this silent accumulation creates a macro transformation that changes your pattern, your identity, and, of course, your results. So, even though May 1st seems small, it is unbeatable when it comes to compounding habits. You begin to see how gradual transformation is actually the safest and most effective way to achieve sustainable success. In the next topic, we will understand the multiplier effect of small, consistent gains and how it works in practice. When we talk about small, consistent gains, we're talking about something that goes beyond the simple act of improving. It's a true multiplier effect that amplifies your results over time. Imagine that each small advance is like a drop of water falling into a bucket. At first it seems like little, but soon the bucket fills up and the volume grows rapidly. This is what daily discipline and persistence do for your progress. This multiplier effect happens because each micro gain boosts the next, creating a chain reaction of improvements. It's as if each small victory were an investment that yields interest. The more you accumulate, the greater the return. That's why the secret is to maintain consistency, even when the results seem timid or slow to appear. Furthermore, this mechanism helps to reinforce self-confidence and identity. When you realize that you are making progress, even if slowly, a virtuous cycle is created where motivation grows along with a feeling of control over your own life. It is the strength of repetition, combined with focus on the process, that generates such powerful personal growth. Another interesting point is that the multiplier effect protects against relapses and periods of discouragement, because when you already have a solid history of small gains, it becomes easier to regain discipline and get back into the swing of things, maintaining the momentum you have built. It is like an emotional asset that you can use to pick yourself up whenever you need it. Finally, the multiplier effect of small, consistent gains shows that patience is a great ally. Success is not a sprint, but a marathon made up of short, regular, and strategic steps. And from here, we can compare this logic with the functioning of compound interest, the subject of our next point. Compound interest is famous for its magic. The money you invest earns interest, and that interest also earns interest, creating exponential growth over time. The most interesting thing is that this financial concept can be perfectly applied to personal growth and daily habits. It's compounding. That is, the cumulative effect of small, constant gains that generate a huge impact. Just as your invested capital grows over time, your daily micro gains also accumulate, creating a gradual but powerful transformation. Each small habit you repeat is like an investment in yourself, and daily discipline is the fuel that keeps this growth going. When you keep up this pace, you start to reap results that seem miraculous to those who only look at the short term. This comparison helps you see the growth process with more patience and a long-term strategy. After all, there's no point in wanting a huge leap right away, just as you can't expect to get rich overnight by investing just once. The secret lies in daily action and consistency, so that compounding can do its silent but unbeatable work. Furthermore, your inner confidence grows as you see your accumulated gains, just like an investor who sees a portfolio grow and multiply. This fuels motivation and strengthens the identity of someone committed to incremental progress, who values the process more than immediate results. So whenever you feel impatient, remember compound interest. The power of compounding is real, both for money and for your personal growth. In the next topic, we will talk about the importance of discipline and faith in small actions, which are the engine of this continuous growth. Discipline and faith in small actions are the basis for any progress that truly lasts. Often, we want to see immediate results and end up skipping steps, forgetting that sustainable success comes precisely from persistence in small daily actions. It is this inner confidence, combined with discipline, that keeps the cycle of micro gains running on autopilot. When you trust the process, Even if you don't see immediate results, you create a solid commitment to yourself. This belief in the one habit creates real motivation because you know that every action counts, even if it seems insignificant. The constant repetition of these small steps creates a strong identity, that of someone who delivers on their promises, and that is pure gold for personal growth. It's crucial to trade the desire for quick results for the patience needed to build something solid. After all, big leaps are often unsustainable and lead to frustration. Instead, daily discipline ensures that momentum builds and turns into incremental progress, which in turn generates more motivation and self-confidence. This faith in small actions also acts as a shield against discouragement. On difficult days, remembering that progress is made up of micro gains helps you stay consistent and not give up. After all, gradual transformation depends more on the habit of repetition than on momentary willpower. Ultimately, daily discipline and trust in the process create a positive spiral. The more you practice, the more confidence you have, the more confidence you have, the more persistent you become. And so the one habit solidifies itself as a silent but powerful engine of sustainable success. In the next section, we'll explore the contrast between big goals and micro gains, showing how to align these two worlds. Big goals are essential to inspire and give us direction, but let's face it, they can be daunting and even demotivating when they seem too far away. That's where micro wins come in to turn those big goals into achievable, tangible steps in your day-to-day life, keeping you motivated and making steady progress. The key is to break down the big thing into smaller wins that fit into your routine. While a big goal acts as a beacon, micro wins are flashlights that light the way. They ensure you have a visual record of your progress, something that gives you meaning and builds your inner confidence. Each small achievement becomes concrete evidence that success is within your reach, reducing anxiety and the feeling that the goal is too far away. Furthermore, focusing only on the big goal can even paralyze you because your brain tends to avoid efforts that seem enormous. With micro gains, daily discipline becomes easier, almost automatic, because achievable goals are realistic and easy to start. It's the famous small slice of pizza that you can enjoy every day without feeling guilty. And last but not least, celebrating each of these small victories helps build powerful momentum. This celebration doesn't have to be grandiose. Just a moment of recognition is enough to reinforce the habit and ensure that the gradual transformation continues, with a focus on process and repetition. Therefore, balancing big goals with micro gains is a formula for maintaining momentum, motivation, and persistence in the pursuit of success. In the next topic, we will talk about the importance of recognizing and valuing these small gains, which often go unnoticed. Recognizing and appreciating small gains is one of the keys to maintaining motivation and discipline in the long term. Often, we only realize our progress when we reach big goals, but it is in the small daily victories that the true fuel for sustainable success is found. Celebrating these moments creates a positive cycle that fuels persistence and strengthens self-confidence. These small victories act as powerful internal evidence. They show that you can start, persist, and move forward even when the road seems difficult or long. This visual record of progress not only increases motivation, but also replaces the need to rely solely on willpower, which is finite and can fail in times of crisis. A practical way to recognize these gains is to create simple rituals, such as writing down your achievements, marking them on your calendar, or even sharing them with someone you trust. This recognition doesn't have to be grand. Important thing is that you feel like you're making progress, even if it's in small steps. This helps you stay focused on the process, not just the end result. Furthermore, this practice reinforces the identity you want to build. Each small victory is a building block that strengthens the idea of I am someone who delivers, creating a sense of internal responsibility that drives personal growth. It is a repetition of these moments that, over time, consolidate strong and lasting habits. Finally, appreciating small gains is essential to keeping the one habit going strong. Celebrating these gains regularly turns incremental progress into a joyful journey, making sustainable success something natural and achievable. In the next section, we'll explore the relationship between identity and habits, a key connection to understanding how to maintain consistency. The relationship between identity and habits is a fundamental piece for those who want to build lasting changes. Each action you repeat reinforces the image you have of yourself, that is, your identity. When you cultivate positive habits, you begin to see yourself as someone disciplined, persistent, and committed. And this creates a self-confidence that comes from within, solid and true. This process is like a cycle. Your habits shape your identity, and your identity, in turn, strengthens your habits. Therefore, it is no use focusing only on what you want to do, but on who you want to be. Change begins when you adopt a mindset that you are already this person who achieves your goals, who values incremental progress, and who celebrates small victories. Repetition is the magic ingredient that turns actions into beliefs. The more you repeat a habit, the more it becomes a natural part of your daily life, and the more you identify with this new version of yourself. This is the secret to building the inner confidence needed to face challenges and keep going, even when motivation takes a break. Examples of successful athletes and investors illustrate this connection. Well, Serena Williams, Messi, and Warren Buffett are role models not only for their results, but for cultivating an identity of consistency, patience, and daily discipline. They understand that true transformation comes from the sum of small habits that reflect who they are. So, when working on your habits, ask yourself, what identity do I want to build? And what small actions reflect this person? This way, you strengthen self-confidence and persistence, two essential pillars for incremental progress and sustainable success. In the next topic, we will look at practical examples of people who apply the one habit in their daily lives. When we look at greats like Serena Williams, Lionel Messi, and Warren Buffett, we realize that the secret to their success goes far beyond talent. They are masters of consistency, daily discipline, and the relentless pursuit of micro gains. It is the one habit that keeps them constantly evolving, building a solid foundation that generates sustainable success. Serena Williams, for example, trains with focus on incremental progress, always looking to tweak small details in her technique, conditioning, and mindset. These daily adjustments add up to extraordinary performance, showing that patience and repetition are just as important as physical strength. Lionel Messi, on the other hand, is the embodiment of momentum created by micro-advances. His growth as a player was not a magical leap, but the result of years of disciplined practice, constant analysis, and the pursuit of continuous improvement. Each training session is an opportunity to build the identity of a winning athlete. Warren Buffett, one of the world's greatest investors, applies the same logic to his financial and personal habits. He invests consistently, patiently, and with focus on long-term goals, taking advantage of the power of compound interest to multiply his wealth. Daily discipline and faith in the process are what sustain his success. These examples show that the one habit is universal and can be applied to any area of life. The key is to set absurdly small and achievable goals, ensuring daily victories that, over time, generate a macro transformation. In the next topic, we will talk about how to create these intentional micro gains in your daily life. To create intentional micro gains, the first step is to set incredibly small, achievable goals. This may seem funny, but it's precisely the simplicity that ensures daily progress and prevents procrastination. For example, instead of saying I'm going to read an entire book, start by reading 5 minutes a day. This small habit is already a powerful micro gain. Visually recording your progress is another surefire strategy for increasing motivation. This could be a chart, a checklist, or even a whiteboard. Seeing the small victories that accumulate creates a record that strengthens daily discipline and helps you stay focused on the process. It's a way to turn incremental progress into something concrete and exciting. Additionally, creating intentional micro-wins requires a growth mindset and patience. You have to accept that success doesn't happen overnight and embrace gradual transformation. Each small step forward is a building block that strengthens your identity and builds momentum that becomes increasingly difficult to break. It is also important to celebrate each step taken, no matter how small. Celebration is a positive reinforcement that increases internal confidence and helps to transform repetition into an automatic habit. Small celebrations make the process enjoyable and keep your motivation high. Finally, remember that the key to micro gains is daily action and consistency. Start today with something simple and gradually increase the challenges as your habit grows stronger. In the next topic, we'll learn more about the importance of celebration and consistency to keep the one habit alive. Celebrating small victories is a powerful way to reinforce the habits you're building. Even if progress is gradual, recognizing these achievements creates a sense of accomplishment that fuels motivation and persistence. After all, daily discipline becomes easier when you know that each step is worthwhile and deserves to be valued. Furthermore, consistency is what turns micro gains into lasting results. Taking even the smallest action every day strengthens a habit and creates momentum that is hard to break. This growing momentum fuels your self-confidence and establishes the identity of someone committed to continuous improvement, creating a virtuous cycle of progress. Celebration doesn't have to be something grand. It can be a pause to acknowledge your efforts, a thank you to yourself, or even sharing your achievement with someone who supports your journey. These small moments reinforce the emotional connection to the habit, making repetition enjoyable and natural. Discipline, combined with celebration, helps combat procrastination and discouragement, especially on days when motivation is low. It is the focus on the process, combined with the recognition of small victories, that keeps the flame burning and progress flowing, even in difficult times. Ultimately, cultivating this culture of celebration and consistency is essential for the one habit to become part of your identity. Over time, the gradual transformation takes hold, and sustainable success becomes a natural consequence. In the next topic, we will conclude this powerful content. We have reached the fundamental point: success does not happen by chance, nor by a great miraculous leap. It is the result of the silent, patient, and unbeatable accumulation of the one habit. Each small step, each micro gain, each moment of daily discipline adds up and creates a gradual transformation that, in the end, makes all the difference. You've already realized that this journey is more about the process than the immediate result. And it's exactly this vision that creates a growth mindset, constant motivation, and inner confidence. Persistence in repeating habits strengthens your identity and builds a powerful momentum that no one can take away from you. Now, I invite you to reflect: what small advances can you start making today? What daily habits, no matter how small, can be the driving force behind your gradual transformation? Remember, no matter where you are, the one habit is within reach of everyone who wants to evolve with focus and discipline. If this content inspired you, don't waste any more time. Subscribe to the channel now, turn on notifications, and start applying the one habit to your life today. Share this video with someone who also deserves to take the first step towards sustainable success. Let's go on this journey of personal growth together.